Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers, Facebookians. Welcome to another edition of Living Simply and Fun. I'm your host, Aries, and this is Aaron. We're going to speed this video up today. This video is about, sorry again about the dog. We have a neighbor next door. It screams like bloody murder if he doesn't get what he wants. A little brat. Anyways, this topic is about expensive versus non-expensive versus made in America versus not made in America. Aaron, since you want to speak this up.
I didn't know this was going to be about expensive or versus cheap, but I guess it kind of fits with this one. We're going to be talking about foreign-made versus American-made, and particularly Chinese-made, since most of our import goods are Chinese-made products. Yeah, there's a lot from other countries, but Chinese gets a bad rap, in my opinion, for being poorly made. And what I really want to say about it is I won't buy Chinese-made goods that are as expensive as American-made goods. Rita was showing me some fly poles the other day that's prices were in range with some American-made companies that have a very good reputation. Why am I going to pay $850 for a foreign-made version of the $850 American pole? Part of what I look for in foreign-made things is cost efficiency. So that's not very cost efficient. I'd rather buy the American version that is claimed to have been higher quality anyways. Then sometimes though, like I've seen a pair of jeans that were made in China. They were $70 a pair. I'm sorry, I'm just happy with my Mexican-made pair that's $7 a pair. If the Chinese pair was $8 or $9, I might just go with a pair of them now and then. But I'm not going to pay $70 for something more expensive than some American-made, which there's very few anymore that are American-made, particularly for clothing. But some people end up sitting there and they tell you how bad Chinese goods are, and they refuse to buy Chinese goods. They want to buy only American-made to try to give business to the American companies. There are actually a lot of American companies that make horrible products. What my biggest problem actually is a certain unnameable Korean company, I think it's South Korean, that makes a lot of phones, TVs, they even make a refrigerator. I don't trust their company in the least bit. Everything that I've ever bought from their company, except for a cell phone back about 15 years ago, has been the utter biggest piece of junk that I have ever bought. Mostly with battery problems, and their customer service is horrible. They refuse to hold their warranties, even though it's under warranty. They just say user error, and they'll charge you the whole amount. But you might as well just buy a new one, and it could be only a couple months old. So, but apparently they're suing people who diss their name. So I'm not going to use their name, but I think you know who I mean. So just because it's foreign made doesn't mean it's good, doesn't mean it's bad. A lot of times you're going to want to do some research anyways into what people are saying about the product. Speaking of research on things and foreign made versus made here, there's knockoff gummy bear that's supposed to be really good, that's made foreign, and it has no problems, but apparently the original manufacturer, well, I've heard just look at their Amazon reviews on their sugar-free...
The Black Forest ones?
No, the sugar-free ones from Hybro.
Ah, Hybro.
Apparently they're making people very, 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 very sick, even though they taste like a rainbow crapped in your mouth, as they say. Apparently,
Taste the rainbow.
Apparently they're very, very, very good, but they cause the most severe abdominal pain from just eating a handful of them, and can cause runs for up to 24 hours afterwards. I'm not entirely 100% that's true, but I think that it is.
I just wanted to say, on my opinion, when he was talking about fly rods, for example, there's a company that I check out fly rods. You know, if they give you a lifetime warranty, you shouldn't worry about Chinese-made ones. But what upsets me is you get these guys that make a fly rod, say from a company in in America and they don't say where they're made, then you can't find the info. And then finally, you stumble across a report saying they're made in South Korea, and they're a whopping $600 to $800, and it's like, excuse me, you can buy an American-made one, and they're like, well, ours is better.
I won't trust any company either that won't tell you where their products are made. And another thing to be aware of too is, particularly if you don't want to buy Chinese-made or foreign-made or whatever, you got to be careful with American-made. A lot of times they'll say made in America. It's actually just assembled in America, and all the parts are made foreign. Or all the materials come from foreign places, and they're not really American-made. So, just because they're assembled here, that's a different story. It's assembled rather than made. So, you gotta be careful of things like that, too. I was telling Rita about a certain firearm she was interested in, and they're notorious for using foreign-made items to make their American-made gun, which isn't exactly American-made now, is it?
No.
That's one thing with firearms too. Oftentimes with firearms, there is a big difference between American-made and foreign-made. American-made usually seems to have a higher quality, particularly if they're top shelf. What I mean by that is custom-made. As compared to custom-made, foreign-made. Custom foreign firearms tend to break down a lot easier and tend not to follow any warranty. So...
yeah, but some of them, like a friend of mine who's in the Philippines and makes the Filipinos Arms Corps and Taylor, say they're very well built and made with a lifetime warranty.
Now, talking about expensive versus cheap, oftentimes American-made items are very expensive, particularly in the clothing department, and many of them are billboards. I will not be a billboard. And I will not pay billboard prices. It's okay, I can let that beep a second. Sorry about the beeping, but...
I can take care of it.
Okay. Just go and turn the time... set the timer for 10 minutes. So, when it comes to expensive versus cheap, where was I exactly? I was at...
American-made versus expensive.
Yes,
clothes,
clothing.
For example.
I believe some of the companies, I think like Guess and Tommy Hilfiger and Aeropostale are all American-made. I will not wear their clothes. I will not wear polo either. I am not going to pay $60-$70 for a t-shirt that has their name all over it. I am not going to be a moving advertisement for them. I can buy a shirt like this. I think this one was made in Honduras. It costs $5. Yeah, it's stained and a little threadbare in places because it's old. But you know what? It's a shirt. I wear it. It covers me. I'm not walking around naked because I do have a shirt that I can wear.
I do want to say when it comes to
and there's no billboard on it. Not a single word on the shirt.
So he makes jokes with me sometimes. Like once a year, he'll pick on me. No offense. He'll pick on me and say I'm too classic when it comes to t-shirts, for example. I buy a 6-pack of white t-shirts, I'm good to go. Or 2 white 6-packs of t-shirts, you know? So, the thing is that while he's doing this, expensive versus non-expensive. Well, you know, like he was saying, you know, it depends on what you want, you know? Like, he was giving an example. I'm into firearms, I read reviews, I like getting my magazines. You know, they say, oh, this one's made in America, this one's made in the Philippines, this one's made in Europe, this one, you know. The bottom line is, you know, you gotta weigh the pros and cons. It also doesn't affect just expensive versus not expensive, or, you know, cheap versus rich, or, you know, etc. It's also what you can afford in your budget as well. For example, if you dream of that classic firearm for $6,000, that you find something that's a quality piece that's, say, $600, made in America, for example, you take the $600, be happy and be content over paying $6,000.
You don't necessarily need the Wilson or Nighthawk over the Ruger. The Ruger's a lot cheaper and has.
Well, like Aaron says, if I was going to own a firearm, it would probably be a Ruger. But thing is do you choose Ruger over Nighthawk? Well, if you have the money, you want the Nighthawk, go for it. If you want S. Brown, you go for it. Les Bear, you go for it. These are just little things. Look at fly rods, for example. Everyone rant and raves about the Sage being the best. Yeah, but Sage are mostly a fast action rod, so technically you have to be an expert to use them. And then they say, oh, well, we have a medium fast action. No, you need a medium action. Most people stay with the medium actions, and they stay only with the 5 or 6 weight. However, some of them go with an 8 to 10 weight, for example, just for salmon fishing and stuff. Now, if you're going out in the ocean, they might get 11 to 14 weight. Again, it depends on what you're fishing, but you don't need to fork out $800, for a fly rod, for example. You don't need to spend X amount of money. I mean, heck, Aaron had a choice. He didn't know it, and I just grabbed one, what it was available. But he had a choice. You could have the flip type, or you can have the one-piece design of the DS. He got the 2DS instead of the 3DS or the...
Here's a story, too. We're talking about the 2DS, even though it's cheaper. At the same time, it doesn't bend, so... You're not opening, closing, and we ended up having hinges break on ours.
After 7 years of use.
At least in this one, it doesn't do that, but you got to get a case because it's a dust magnet. Even if it's only been sitting a day, it's going to be coated in like dust and hair. I don't know why that is, even if you've never even turned it on. But a little story about cheap versus expensive. Me and my friend, a long time ago, we both wanted a pair of cowboy boots. We thought it'd be cool to wear cowboy boots with our jeans. So I bought a pair of cowboy boots that cost me $50. He bought a pair of top-of-the-line cowboy boots that cost almost $800. Luckily, he had a job, and, well, I was mowing lawns. So it was also a matter of what we could afford. His cowboy boots didn't last in the summer before the heel ended up breaking, and actually he ended up tearing the leather on one side of a boot from something stupid. It was like a stick sticking out of a log. My boots actually were still able to be worn when I went to Cleveland last to visit my dad. They don't look too good now, but they're still usable, and I used them a lot. So my $50 pair outlasted his $800 pair. So sometimes cheap is better, sometimes it's not. Like Walmart brand shoes might be $13 for a pair, but they barely last me a month. That's actually one point where I keep thinking about buying something more expensive because I'm tired of buying a new pair of shoes every month. If I could pay $50 and get a pair that'll last me 2 years, I've saved more money than buying the $13 Walmart ones every month. Because what does that end up coming out to? $156 a year, $312 in 2 years. So if I can spend $50 instead of $312, not bad. I'll live with that. So I'm seriously thinking about buying different shoes so I don't have to spend that money every month.
I'm seriously thinking of investing in a pair of boots too soon, cowboy boots for future and then other things. But you know what? When I look to invest in something, I'll invest in it. And by the way, I want to tell a story. A neighbor of mine, I don't know why she wanted to get rid of it, but she got rid of her duster, and it's been hanging in my closet, and I use it all the time.
You've been using it for almost 8 years.
Yeah, the neighbor was going to throw it out. I took it, and guess what? It's been a good coat since then.
Like the cowboy hat.
Yeah, Grandpa's was retiring, and this hat was, let's just say this hat was in a box, and Grandpa wanted it, and it came from Colorado.
Grandma never wore it.
Granny paid like $250 for this hat out of the Rockmount, Denver, Colorado company when she was traveling there, and he never wore it, so I did.
So sometimes you can get nice things free, like that and her duster. So,
anyways, the bottom line is, before we sign off, rich versus expensive versus non-expensive.
Or your
Chinese made versus non-Chinese made.
Your Jaguar leather attaché case.
Oh yes, check this out. $900 briefcase. I was telling a friend of mine about this 5 years ago. She wanted to get her dad a briefcase. $900 briefcase. My briefcase I got for $5 new at Habitat for Humanity. Yep, I take this everywhere when I travel on the bus and stuff. It's been a good briefcase. So, sometimes you get good quality stuff, sometimes you don't. For example,
sometimes go and check used first. Sometimes
yes,
you'll find newer, lightly used, expensive.
Yes, exactly. So for some of you out there, check out the new versus used versus hardbound book edition on our channel, and go from there. And I think you might like it a lot. So
and when it comes down to choosing foreign made versus American made, do reviews. Read reviews on Amazon or other sites. Find out what people are saying about it.
Exactly. Read reviews. And another thing. For you subscribers, here's a big tip before we log off tonight with this last message. While Aaron's finishing up dinner. Big tip for you. Read reviews, watch reviews. Reviews on Amazon. You can watch reviews also on YouTube. I sit down in the evening. Sometimes I watch reviews on tablet PCs that I need for indoor use for my office. I watch them. I go to Aaron. I say, oh, it's only $200 or $250. Heck, I've watched reviews and talked to him about buying a Chromebook. Why? It's a Chromebook. We haven't done it yet because, well, we don't have figured out what we'd be using it for.
Actually, I found the best answer to that. Somebody, I should come there.
Okay.
I play this game called Gardens of Time, which is a Facebook app. And it's a pretty intensive one that slows down a lot of computers. This woman asked, can a Chromebook handle it? No one gave her a proper answer, so she decided to wing it and buy a Chromebook anyways. She said it works great for the game. And she plays the game on there all the time. She's had it now over a month and no problems yet. So, Chromebook does apparently work for Flash games and can handle them. So, it might be worth buying one. That was our big question.
Yes, so, with that said, Aaron's cleaning up dinner. We got to do a video soon on new versus used CDs, new versus used movies, which will be condensed, and new versus used video games. So with that said, please add and subscribe if you like. Please post comments in the box if you like. Please add and subscribe if you like. And please post suggestions in the box. Thank you, and may God bless the world.